Hello, crafty friends. Creative Juice by Lonnie here with you on Monday, January 15th, 16th. What is today? It's easy to lose track in 2023. Today, we're going to do a little bit of watercoloring because we have had an unseasonably wet year in southern Utah. So, how's the weather where you're at? Is it beautiful? Is it rainy? We love it. We have been in a drought for the past 10 years, and we are just happy that we have some water. We're happy that we have some water, and it is coming down hard. My husband has been like collecting buckets of rainwater just to show how much to figure out how much he can get. All right, so let's get to watercoloring. You can tell if you can see my hands, you can see I've already been crafting. It's a mark of a good crafter if you've already got ink on your hands on Monday morning. So let's do some stamping, shall we? Today we're going to be using, let's do this. We're going to be using, see if I can rearrange these here for us. We want to see this one more. Here we go. The Beautifully Happy stamp set, which is one of the ones you can choose for a qualifying purchase during celebration. This one happens to be, I believe, $100 one. Yes, I think so. $100. If you have $100 purchase, you could choose this one for free during celebration. I love that it's a two-step. It has an outline and then kind of a watercolor look to it. We might show you a little bit of that while we're crafting today. And then it has some lovely sentiments. Happy birthday, thank you, you're easy to love, feeling better for if you needed a get well soon card. So it's kind of a great versatile stamp set. And I wanted to share a fun background technique because sometimes the stamps take center stage and they just need a good background. Let's try it out. So we're going to use today our water painters. And I have a variety of ink, but first of all, let me show you what we're going to use. We need a very vanilla card base, so 8.5 by 5.5, folded in half or scored at 4 1/4 to make your base. This is a 5-inch by 3 3/4 inch piece of rich raspberry. You could use any purples that you like or blues if you want to make it blues or pink, whatever. Then I'm using our fluid watercolor paper. Now, when you're watercoloring, the kind of paper that you use is the most important thing you choose. I love this fluid watercolor paper. Sadly, it only comes in a small pack, so you kind of have to be judicious about it. But I cut this piece to I gave you the wrong measurements for this. I'll give it to you again. This one is 5 by 3 3 3/4, and then this is a 5-inch by 2-inch piece that I cut off, and then you'll have another little piece right here. I may even cut it down shorter. We'll see. This is all about creativity, and there's no exact things in creativity. So I cut my rich raspberry just 1/8 of an inch larger than, so it's 5 1/8 tall by 3 7/8 inches wide, I guess is the way it is. So it gives you that little piece right there. Then you'll need something underneath you because we're going to make a little bit of a mess today. Okay, so let's make something pretty. We're using our water painters, and I have a stamp and spritzer filled here with water. So the first thing, before I get there, let's get our colors out. I'm going to start with fresh freesia, and you can squeeze your ink pad like this to get some of the ink color on here. You don't want to put water onto your ink pad. You want to put the water into the well. So I'm going to leave these open to be my little watercolor place. You can also use a large, grabbing it, you could put a drop of your re-inkers onto one of your clear blocks or into a stamp case, wherever you'd like to kind of keep it from going off the edge of your block if you're nervous about that. Or put this in your stamp case and you'll be ready to go. Sometimes I add a little bit of my re-inker there. I also have a rich raspberry here, and you can see I have been playing. So these two kind of have a little different shades, but they work beautifully together. And then we may even use a little bit of Blackberry Bliss, which is really dark, really dark. I like to have a couple of varieties when you're watercoloring. It just so that you have a kind of swirls of different depths, I guess is the best way to do it. So we'll make it rain here. We're going to spray our watercolor paper with our Stampin' Spritzer, get it nice and wet. Then we'll start with our large background brush. I'm going to start with the lightest color first. One other thing you might want to have on hand, two other things actually, is a piece of window sheet. I just like to keep the window sheets from my stamp sets. So this one actually came from this, I think, from this Beautifully Happy stamp set, and I just kept it when I put all of my stamps on the inside of my stamp case. I kept the plastic piece, the window sheet that it came with. So, and then the other thing is, you may need a Kleenex or a napkin or a paper towel. So we've got this wet, and I'm just going to do a really quick wash of fresh freesia. Since it's already wet, it really takes the color well, and you don't have to, if you need to get a little extra color, you can squeeze your water painter if you'd like. Okay, now I'm just going to go back and add a little bit like that, a little extra color here and there. You don't want it to be too mottled. Just kind of give it a wash. I'm also going to do the same thing with my Pear Pizzazz. I also have two depths of green. So we're going to use Pear Pizzazz. Let's kind of squeeze your barrel and get that purple off, and then pick up your green, and I'm going to do a little bit of green, Pear Pizzazz, washing it onto this paper. That's your first step. It's so easy to do this. Really, you're going to find that you're going to look for ways to watercolor things. You're going to just want to watercolor everything. Watercolor all the things. I want to dry this really quickly. So I'll use my heat tool to kind of get it dried. You can move some of the ink around if you want to with your heat tool as it pools. But we're going to just quickly dry it so that we can do the next layer. Watercolor is kind of about layering things like you do in the winter with your clothes. Okay, we got it all nice, mostly dried. Let's add a little bit of different color. Now I want to use a different pen. I'm going to use my medium point for my water pen. This time I'm going to pick up a little bit of, trying to get, it says push right here on the side of the barrel. I'm going to get my water into the rich raspberry. And this time I just want to kind of pool it like this onto here in a couple of different places. You can kind of work it around. And you can see by adding a little bit of darker, it's going to be darker in some places, lighter in others. This is another time, I'll show you that one in a minute. Okay, so I've got a little bit of darker color there going along. Then let's do a little bit darker. I want to get a little tiny bit of that. You can always use your paper underneath you to kind of check to see how much you've got. I know that I'm going to put some flowers on this side, so I'm kind of adding more there. Okay, good. That's looking great. Let's wipe it off and do some darker green. We're going to use Mossy Meadow. It's just kind of a mottled mess here if you want it to be, to be honest. Okay, that's a little bit purpley. Mossy Meadow is our darker color for this one down here, and I've got a little purple still, so it's going to be a little. It's okay to have these bubbles. It's going to be a little bit, that kind of gives it some texture. I like that. Darker colors, green. Okay, I think that's looking good. Another thing, well, let's dry this and then I'll show you the other thing I was going to show you. All right. And it's going to kind of push that water here and there. If you want it to come this direction, you can push that purple into the green. Dry it off. This is when you can also pick up some of the color just by using your tissue that you've got there. Okay, I'm kind of liking this. It's going to be fun. It's just different. Okay, one last thing. We're going to add a little bit darker depth. So we've got two depths here so far. Now we're going to mix them a little bit together. Pull out that window sheet and find the right. I think I'm going to start with green since we've already got it green here. I'm going to just put some green onto my window sheet. In fact, I need a little extra, so let's pull out our Mossy Meadow, put it into the top of our ink pad. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Beautiful. Perfect. Wipe it off. This is the hardest part, is getting it clean so you can go to the next color. So squeeze the barrel. Get it all cleaned off. Wait till it runs sort of clean. Wow, we got a lot of green on there. Trying to put it over here so it doesn't get in my way. Okay, that's pretty close. And pick some more up of that darker color here. Or I want it to actually be over here. Okay. Okay, you got a little bit on your window sheet. You're going to just take this, turn it over, and squish. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Squish, squish, squish. Okay. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. Get that cleaned off a little bit and then come back. Well, no, I don't want to clean it off because I'm going to use it in just a moment. If you feel like this looks like it's got too much texture for me down here on the bottom, I'm just going to spray a little bit of my spritzer because I don't want it to have harsh lines. I want it to really blend. So I just spritz that so that you get some of that softer blending. Just dry it the way you want it to here. Okay. And every time you do this, it's going to be a little bit different. If you want to come back in and kind of blend things together with the big brush, you can do that. There we go. I'm really having fun with my colors. Okay, looking good. I think we're close. Now I just have to dry it off, and we want to add a couple of splatters, some natural splatter. This extra water will kind of give it that watercolor, a different watercolor look too, right down in here, and letting it have all that pretty goodness. Okay. Sometimes I just want to blend it together a little bit. Good. There's no right or wrong way to do this, so just have fun while you're watercoloring. Okay, we've got that taken care of. Let's just add a little bit of splattery stuff. Need to move my window sheet off so I don't get it in the way. bring it back in, find, what did I do with it? It's probably standing right in front of me, folks. My smaller, not this big one, not this small one, but another one. Oh, it's right behind my heat tool. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, let's add some splatters. So I'm going to pick up the dark color right here with a little bit of, you just want to do this. Put your finger down and then go splatter, splatter, splatter. Look at that. Beautiful. If you want a couple of, I'm going to wipe that off. So I've got the splatters in the background, and then maybe I'll just use my other small ones. You don't have to watch me do this. Watch me clean it up. Use this small one for the green one. I like that these water painters come in a set of 3, because then you can have a lot of variety here. So we've got, you can even do a blob like that. I'm going to leave it right there like that. Okay. We're going to set that aside while we do a little bit of stamping. Okay. I'm considering which ones I want to do. Which thing I want to do today. Sometimes I've done so many fun things. Okay, we're going to do a little stamping. We'll move aside our coloring part. I'm using the Stamparatus today because I want to get a really deep impression. So I like to put a stamp set underneath the Stamparatus where I'm going to flip the top open. So I've already put my paper on here. Let's take this, or not my paper, my stamp on the top. And I have this 2-inch by 5-inch piece of watercolor paper. This stamp set kind of holds the plate firm while you are adding your ink. Usually I like to use ink spots when I'm using the Stamparatus because it doesn't get ink over here on the side, but today we'll just use our ink pads. So I'm going to stamp these beautiful flowers like that. And if you feel like the black isn't deep enough, this is why you use your Stamparatus. Actually, this black is pretty good, but if you wanted to really get it black, you can put your paper right back into the corner where it was and then ink up your stamp again and put it on there and you'll get a really nice dark black, okay? Now, I also want to do that onto this piece of paper, and I have a little, I have a little bit of water right here that I just need to get I want it to be dry. There we go, love it. So I can say, all right, I want this flower to be right here. Got it? That's about right. Put that down there. Pick it up again. It doesn't even matter that there's some ink on it because it's going to go right back in the same spot, hopefully, right? Ink it all up. What kind of sentiment should we put on this one? Should we put on a thank you or a get well, happy birthday, kindness matters, you are easy to love? You guys choose a sentiment while we're doing that. Okay. Oh, well, that one was a little bit screw-wumpusy, but that's okay because what we're going to do is we just need that piece to be like that at the same spot. Oh, good. All right. Okay, we've got the watercolor background. Now I could go ahead and use watercolor right on top of this. Let me show you what I mean by that. I could actually take my watercolors and color it like this on top of the watercolor background now that it's dry, which will be beautiful. Just add some colors to it, and then you've got this gorgeous. Okay. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Some of these might not be. Okay, green, green, green. So you could do that. And then when you're done, your finished card would look like this. That's the one finished card. We're going to do a different, one little different thing here as well. So don't go too far. I added a little piece of bling right here in the center of the flower. You don't have to, but I always love a little bling or something that kind of makes it look beautiful. So that was a previous one. Can you see how pretty this is just with that random background? I just think it's so gorgeous. But what we're going to do is watercolor this piece right here. Hopefully. Bring back, put that away. Bring back my paper to watercolor on. Okay, so this time we're just going to start here and use a lot of water to get it to kind of, when you're getting this darker shade underneath this flower right here, around the edges. Up here, up here. I love watercoloring because there's no wrong or right way. So just feel free to play with it. Now I've done the dark parts. Add a little extra there. There we go. Come back to my Pear Pizzazz. It's a little bit lighter. Just kind of, there's just so much fun. And it's just fun to do. It's just fun to color. Okay, we got that. Now let's go to our purple. Clean off my brush till it runs clear. Okay, let's start with the lighter color this time. Oops. I picked up a little bit of that. Oh, you know what I was going to tell you? You don't want to use this StazOn. You want to use StazOn when you're watercoloring. All right. And I used Memento. It's okay though. Sometimes that just makes the colors from the Memento pad might smear a little bit. It's okay. You can see that darker color there. That black got a little bit of, it's kind of running. It's okay though. It's gonna be just fine. There's no mistakes. But StazOn is the ink that you want to use. If you're watercoloring over it, you can use Memento when you are stamping on top of it, which is what I did. Here. I used my Memento still here. All right. It's okay. It looks good. It's looking good. We don't mind. We can have a little bit of everything. Now let's do a little bit of Blackberry Bliss. A little extra dark. We'll do it for dark center like that. Let it just kind of bubble out. Ooh, and then these we want to do Blackberry Bliss too. Squeeze some water. Okay, I kind of like that. We're just going to take our, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. What do you think? Lovely, lovely. Now we can add some more splatters to that if we want to. Just a few little splatters. Love it, love it. Where's my small one? Well, that might have been my small one. I made them all purple today. Everything's coming up purple. All right, I'm cleaning it out. Although now I've sucked up some of the purple into my barrel, but it's easy. You just unscrew it and go take the purple out. Okay, we'll put a little green down here. All right, love it. Clean up, everybody, everywhere. Let that dry for just a second. We'll choose a sentiment. Nobody has mentioned whether if they care. This one we made a thank you card out of it. So you just put the little sentiment right down there. But for this one that we haven't finished, we're going to do, I'm actually going to cut this down. I think nope, I think I'm just going to leave it right like that and put it on there. It's going to be a stripe. So there's just lots of ways that you can finish off this card. First of all, we'll put our background onto the first layer, the 1/8 of an inch larger layer. So it's going to be 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Let me show you so you can kind of see the process of getting it on there. Here's our card base. Love that very vanilla. It's just a nice winter white color. So even though I stamped my flower on this one, I had a plan to just go like this. This is what I wanted to do. I may just cut it down just a smidge. You can kind of see that leaf comes off the edge perfectly. It was 2 inches. We're going to make it, how about 1 3/4 inches? Just a smidge skinnier so that it fits on like that. And the leaves kind of go off the edges just like behind it. Since I did pretty close to the same spot. Not exactly, but I love it. I love it. If you make an order from my store at lonnie.stampinup.net, or Creative Juice by Lonnie is my blog, then I will be certain to send you a card. It may not be this one. Go birthday is what Megan says. Let's see if it will fit. For a very happy birthday, it says. I always need birthdays. See if I can find it. For a very happy birthday. Now you can use your stamp and you can decide where it's going to fit. I could put it right up here, which is, it looks like it's going to fit really well. Down here, it kind of overlaps. So I think it'll be okay up here in black. I think that'll be okay. Let's try it. Bring my Memento ink back in. Ooh, it's a very juicy pad. Let's practice on another piece of paper and see if it's going to be too juicy. Okay, we got it working. This is always the scary part, is adding your sentiment after you've done your stamping in case it doesn't work. All right, there you go. So we've got our 2 different styles. This one we just watercolored over the background. This one we just added another layer so that the background peeks out around it. Which one's your favorite? Do you like one better than the other? Does it matter? I know this one's pretty dark. It's hard to see on the camera. We'll add a little bit of bling onto this one too, because why not? Because everything needs bling. These are the champagne rhinestone jewels, and this other one is one that you can choose for free with your $100 order. There are choices for $50 orders. There's choices for, I'm just going to come back in here and add a little right here. Every $50 you order, you get to choose something. So whether you combine 2 $50 orders and get this one, or maybe you get this 2 $50 celebration rewards for a $100 order, or if you order 150, you can order 3 level 1s, or 1 level 1 and 1 level 2. So it's a perfect time to increase some beautiful things in your craft room. What do you think? How do you like that? I am not a true artist, but thank you, Heather. I am certainly not an artist. I just play a lot. And this one is a good technique to play on, because you can every piece of watercolor paper is going to turn out different, and you're going to have a fun time making it, right? Thank you, Emily. I'm so glad. All right, so we've got a birthday one and a thank you card. It's just a fun technique to play with. You do want to start, remember, you start with a lighter color and then add your darker colors as you go along. But I would suggest trying it out because you'll find so many ways to use these gorgeous things. Now, we did not do the two-step stamping on this one. Maybe I'll come back another time in February or sometime and show you the two-step stamping, how to do that. But your Stamparatus will help with that because you can lay the matching piece right on top of your stamped image and pick it up on your Stamparatus and then ink it up with your ink pads and lay it right down where you want it to be. But you can also eyeball it because it does kind of look like watercolor when you're done. This is called distinctive stamping. You'll get different varieties and variegations of colors when you use it. So it kind of looks watercolor just by stamping it. So there is kind of your fun, beautiful watercolor rainy day stamping. I hope you have a chance to get into your craft studio and do a little stamping. And thank you for choosing me. If you are a United States crafter, thanks for choosing Creative Juice by Lonnie. You can go to creativejuicebylonnie.com to order or ask me a question, send me a message, comment here below. And thank you for sharing this with your crafty friends. I will see you next Monday. It will be a pre-recorded video, but right here from my stamp studio so that you can enjoy some more celebration crafting. All right. See you next week.